Hello and welcome. Dr. Andy Rosenfarb here. Today we're going to talk about microcurrent stimulation, how to manage your vision and improve your vision and preserve your vision with microcurrent stimulation. Some of you guys might be familiar with microcurrent stimulation. Maybe you've heard of our alternating current stimulation. Maybe you have used microcurrent stimulation for your vision, maybe other devices in the past. So I want to have a conversation today about microcurrent stimulation, what it is, how it could benefit your eyes, and how it relates to our ACS 3000 alternating current stimulation, which is in fact a form of microcurrent stimulation. So let's start with what is microcurrent stimulation. So microcurrent stimulation is electric neurovascular stimulation that's used to send weak electrical signals to the body's visual system. The microcurrent stimulation, we're going to use MCS for an abbreviation. So MCS, the devices apply extremely small amounts of microamps. That's a measurement in electricity, electrical currents, again, to the visual system using these tiny electrodes that are placed on the skin. Whether it's sometimes electrodes individually, sometimes it's pads, how we use those. Those of you guys who are familiar with the ACS 3000, they're placed directly over the skin, over the eyes or around the eyes, the forehead, the temples, below, sometimes even the back of the head to stimulate the visual cortex. So again, these are electric frequency specific microcurrent electrical currents. They are tiny electrical currents that are barely perceivable, and again, they provide electrostimulation to the eye and the brain's whole visual system. So we're stimulating the retinal cells, the macular cells, the whole neurovascular system of the eye, including the choroid, the bruchs membrane, the glial cells, the whole neurovascular system of the eye, the neurovascular system of the optic nerve, and the neurovascular system of the brain itself. Again, specifically the visual cortex and the prefrontal cortex. They are safe and effective treatments, no known side effects, and they've been proven over the last 25 to 30 years, even longer, since the mid-80s, for neurovascular ophthalmic conditions. So I want to talk a little bit about the evolution of microcurrent and kind of where it came from my personal experience. So the first form of electrotherapies from my training experience came out of China in the form of East Asia, Japan, Korea, in the form of electroacupuncture. So that was my first exposure. And we use millicurrents here, which is a higher level than microcurrents. So we use things like electroacupuncture. Those of you who have been to my clinic or have had electroacupuncture for ophthalmic issues or other conditions, you may have experienced acupuncture used where we connect little electrodes and that creates a little pulse. So that is a millicurrent. That's electroacupuncture, again, that uses millicurrent, not microcurrent. So then in the 1980s, a woman named Grace Halloran brought about this idea or this premise of using microcurrent stimulation, lower level stimulation, very, very low dose stimulation, to help improve her situation with retinitis pigmentosa. It rapidly gained popularity because people were showing benefits pretty rapidly with the microcurrent stimulation. And the first major microcurrent device was developed called the MCS 100 ILE in the 1990s by a gentleman named Joel Rossen. He had created this company called Microcurrent Technologies and used very specific settings and frequencies for his MCS 100 ILE device. Unfortunately, Joel had passed probably about 15 years ago. Great guy, I had a very good relationship with him. I learned a lot from him he was my first education about microcurrent, as was Mark Grossman, who's a holistic optometrist. He as well taught me a lot about microcurrent therapy in my early days. So moving forward in time, in the early 2000s, around 2007, some German eye doctors were working on a new technology called OcuStim. All right, this was where they used a technique called TES, transorbital or transcorneal electrical stimulation, where they're draping a wire, specifically a silver wire, like a silver thread, over the eyes to directly stimulate the whole eye system, specifically the retina and the optic nerve. Now, we had used that in my last study with Nova Southeastern, and I had used the transcorneal electrotherapy in clinic, and it got pretty good results. But we did have some problems. There was some discomfort that people were experiencing. It was hard to get the threads on people's eyes, and it was pretty crude, but it did get good results. So around 2007 to 2010, I used it in clinic, and I kind of put it on the back burner because I was trying to figure out a new way to administer this type of treatment with better results and not so much discomfort and awkwardness in clinic. So then in 2012 and 14, we did our Hopkins study that I just mentioned earlier. With Johns Hopkins was our first study, our pilot study, and then our second study in 2014 was done through Nova Southeastern. And we did, again, use the TES, transcorneal electrotherapy, in that study. And again, it showed really promising benefits. Then in around 1912, I became aware of, in 2012 rather, we're going way back, I became aware of a Russian doctor who was practicing in Germany by the name of Dr. Fedorov, who had been using alternating current stimulation along with brain EEGs to help people's vision. And what he had done is took this idea of microcurrent stimulation, traditionally, which had used direct current. I'm going to talk a little bit about this in a few minutes, and had decided to use alternating current. So traditionally, microcurrent had been using direct current, DC current, and Dr. Fedorov had shifted to using alternating current. So it's a pretty interesting shift, and as we explored that over the years, I ultimately found that to be more effective clinically with patients. I had started using it on children and some individuals who weren't tolerating tolerating needles very well, and more specifically optic nerve issues, because when the alternating current microcurrent therapies came out, it was initially targeted for optic nerve health, glaucoma, optic nerve atrophy, NAION, optic nerve strokes, so on and so forth. So really started to use this alternating current microcurrent stimulation, again, specifically for optic nerve issues. And then when I had used it in other conditions for children with Stargardt's, Usher's, retinitis pigmentosa, optic nerve atrophy, we had found that they were showing improvement as well. So we broadened that field of use from optic nerve and from children to adults and in wider use clinically with our patients. So in 2018, I did a clinical research study, or I began a clinical research study in clinic using the alternating current stimulation. Transorbital stimulation is another way that we call it. And then we got great results. And over COVID, while things were kind of down, a lot of patients had reached out to me that they couldn't come for treatment and they needed some home therapy, and really having growing concerns about their ability to, or more concerns about not receiving treatment over an extended period due to travel restrictions and obviously everything that was going on with COVID at the time. So I developed these home units, these home alternating current stimulation units that we had been using in clinic with the same frequencies that we use in clinic, with the wavelengths that we use in clinic, again, with this shift from DC direct current to alternating current. And we had launched that the summer of, actually a year ago, summer of 2022, and had started getting patients on that. And up till now, we're recording this video in December of 2023. We have around 1,000 individuals using the ACS units at home for home therapy. So we're seeing really, really good results with that. So let's talk about now, how does microcurrent work? How do these therapies work for your vision and help you out? So again, it stimulates all the acupuncture points around your eyes. those of you guys who have, you can either pull up on Google all the acupuncture points that surround the eyes, but there are a lot. There are quite a few acupuncture points, which are neurovascular junctions around the eyes that when we stimulate these, they help with the body's chi or life force energy. Modern interpretations of that is ATP energy output by the mitochondria, the cellular ATP energy output. So this is the energy that's produced. So it boosts the energy, chi or ki production, ATP production from the mitochondria by stimulating these neurovascular acupoints around the eyes. It promotes acceleration of vision recovery and long-term vision preservation. So there are a number of studies that have suggested that daily use of these specific microcurrent stimulation with these specific currents promote retinal and optic nerve health, recovery, repair recovery, and long-term preservation in 3 different ways. So there are 3 ways that the research has shown that its benefits, and I want to share that with you guys right now. So the first way is that we increase blood flow to the eyes. It improves circulation by dilating the blood vessels so that the cells in the eyes, which are miniature versions of us, they need to eat vital nutrients, they need to breathe, they need to get oxygen into the cells for cellular respiration, and they need to eliminate carbon dioxide. So by increasing the blood flow to the eyes and the whole visual system, again, the eye, the optic nerve, and the brain, the cells can start to repair and regenerate because we're getting oxygen to them, so we have cellular respiration, and we have vital nutrients so the cells can have cellular metabolism and repair and regenerate. So they basically need to eat and breathe, okay? So by dilating the blood vessels, using microcurrent therapy, that is going to be improved. So blood flow is very, very important. And again, for those of you guys who are new to this, the retina is the highest oxygen consuming tissue in the whole body, requires a lot of oxygen and sufficient blood flow to the eye. So this is going to improve retinal blood flow and of course macular blood flow to the retina to optimize its function. So that's the first factor. The second way microcurrent stimulation helps vision is that it awakens dormant optic nerve and retinal and macular cells. So these cells are like little batteries. When they run low on energy, just like your cell phone, they die, right? They shut down. And you don't throw it out, right? When your cell phone loses its charge or the battery dies, so to speak, you don't throw it out. All you have to do is recharge it. Well, that's what microcurrent and alternating current therapy does. It wakes up these dormant cells and brings them back into energy, livelihood or vitality, those that have become sluggish and or fully dormant. So we're waking up these sleeping cells. That's the second factor that happens with microcurrent therapy. The third factor that we're going to talk about is that it improves the cell's ability to eliminate ocular waste. Okay, so we can have toxic accumulation that happens with a lot of eye conditions. So if we look at conditions even like glaucoma, where there's too much fluid, right? The aqueous increases too much and it creates too much pressure on the optic nerve. So that is a liquid or a fluid toxicity that disrupts the function of the optic nerve and causes short, long-term damage and even cell death at some point. Then we look at cases like macular degeneration, where we have the accumulation of drusen, which is a metabolic waste product that is mostly fat and some protein. It's like cholesterol. So that buildup of ocular waste, again called drusen, is due to the function of the Bruchs membrane, which is not effectively and efficiently breaking down the waste and getting rid of it. So alternating current stimulation, microcurrent, will help exercise and activate the Bruchs membrane so that your body can eliminate the waste products. Same thing with retinitis pigmentosa and Usher syndrome and even Stargardt's. You look at the back of the eye when they do either a fluorescein angiography or retinal imaging, you can see all this buildup, this pigmentation buildup in the back of the eye. And what happens is that waste, that ocular waste, becomes obstructive and it's a toxic accumulation, so this aids the body's ability to break down and eliminate those waste products that accumulate. It's very, very important for that. So again, we have increased blood flow, we have wakening up the dormant cells, and we have improving the eye's ability to remove ocular waste. Very, very important. Interestingly, in an FDA-guided and supervised study, it revealed that microcurrent, the traditional microcurrents with DC current that is, resulted in significant vision improvements in 61% of patients suffering from dry-type macular degeneration. The research also showed promise that microcurrent stimulation could also help patients with conditions like diabetic retinopathy and retinitis pigmentosa. So although those weren't quantified, they had some other individuals in that group that showed benefit. So that was early stage. Again, that was about 30 years ago, that study. More recently, we see again Dr. Fedoff had done most of the legwork in terms of the research on the transorbital stimulation, the new upgraded AC alternating current version of microcurrent ocular therapy, where we saw much better outcomes going from 60% up to the 80s. Right, so that's been my experience too. When I did our clinical research study, we saw that the shift or the upgrade from DC to AC really improved by probably about 20 to 25% the results. The direct current I saw in clinic was about 50-50. So I had used that probably about 15, 20 years in practice. And then when we shifted to alternating current stimulation, we saw improvement of about 25%, even more, even up to, so say 50-55%, up to like 80-85%. So it's quite a big jump in terms of our patients reporting improvement. And it was faster too. We also found that with alternating current microcurrent stimulation, you needed to use it less frequently. So originally the DC version of microcurrent needed to be done 3 times a day, all right, 3 sessions a day. With microcurrent alternating current stimulation, we're starting patients at daily treatments, but ultimately when they get to maintenance, from 1 time a day, they're going to 3 times a week for maintenance, even 2 times a week for some patients, again, just to keep the blood flow going. So it's a dramatically less amount of self-home treatment required to get the same type of results. And of course, less time spent is more time for you guys. So let's talk a little bit the specifics on how microcurrent and alternating current stimulation, these upgrades, really help vision specifically. What's the mechanism of action here? So we know the ACS electrodes use specific frequencies that we've upgraded from the DC currents to the AC currents that really target the visual system. Again, these upgrades haven't been done for about 30-35 years. So we only recently, over the last 3 to 5 years, made these tweaks and these upgrades and these evolutions to microcurrent therapy that are showing pretty significant improvement. So we're really satisfied with these tweaks that we've made to the alternating current stimulation. We also know that it dilates the blood vessels. We talked a little bit about this to bring more glucose nutrients to the eye and the brain, which allows the nerves, again, to eat, breathe, metabolize, and regenerate. We already discussed it wakens the dormant cells, the sleeping cells. We know that it improves neuroplasticity to help the brain's remaining visual capacity. So there are going to be some nerve tracts in the optic nerve, maybe in the brain, and some retinal cells that are dead, right? They've scarred over, and what we see is that whatever's left, the body's harnessed and optimized and rewired the firing of these nerve impulses and the stream of impulses that go from the retina to the optic nerve to the brain. We've made the best use of what we have. That's really what neuroplasticity is about. It's the rewiring and refiring of wires to optimize whatever remaining visual capacity we have. We also know that the microcurrent therapy, when placed directly over the eyes, guides stem cells and growth factors to the eyes for repair and regeneration. We know stem cells are very, very important for repair and regeneration. We know that it helps with repairing the ocular vascular system. We talked earlier about how blood flow is so important to the eyes and help keeping healthy blood vessels, the choroid, all the veins and the arteries that nourish the cells of the eyes need to be open, they need to be flexible, they need to be delivering these tubes, they need to be delivering the oxygen and blood and nutrients to the cells and help with eliminating toxins and carbon dioxide from the cells. We also know that it helps induce a parasympathetic response, which is a healing response. All right, the parasympathetic response takes us out of fight or flight. Right, we can't heal when we're stressed out, so this induces an alpha state, an alpha theta state of brainwave activity, which is a healing response. Beta activity is more of a stress response. When we drop from beta or high beta, which is our stress response, our sympathetic response, all the way down to an alpha state or a theta brainwave activity where we start to enter a meditative or a sleep state, that amplifies our healing response. So that's really how, not all of the mechanism of my housework, but that's a really good part of it that'll help you guys who are into the biology of this. So the next question is, what eye conditions can benefit from microcurrent therapy? All right, that's important too to discuss. First, I'm going to talk about what condition. We had some questions earlier. Some folks had asked us about myopia, astigmatism, dry eye. These are some conditions, cataracts. These are some conditions that I'm not sure yet if they help. I just don't know. I have enough data to actually make a statement as to whether or not they will help. In terms of neurovascular eye conditions, I can say without question it helps. Does that mean it's going to help everybody all the time? Of course not. Nothing is 100%. This is medicine. This is not an absolute guarantee, but there is a high probability that you will have benefit from this in terms of measurable improvement, and you also can't do any harm. That's one of the best things about microcurrent therapy is it's a very safe and effective treatment with a very low risk. So what type of conditions can benefit? We know for sure macular degeneration, wet type, dry type, as well as Stargardt's, which is juvenile macular degeneration, which is more of an autoimmune type of condition. We know glaucoma, normal tension glaucoma, pseudo exfoliation. We know low tension, normal tension glaucoma rather can help. We know retinitis pigmentosa and all of its forms, cone rod dystrophy, rod cone dystrophy, Usher syndrome, optic nerve atrophy and all the optic nerve conditions like NAION and ION, anterior ischemic optic neuropathies, all of those. Certainly retinal detachments, recovery from retinal detachments, all types of retinal occlusions, eye strokes, and ischemic neuropathies, and any retinal dystrophy. So anything that's really affecting the neurovascular system of the eye can really benefit. So who should not use microcurrent therapy is very important as well. So individuals with known seizure disorders, we do not recommend you use microcurrent. If you have epilepsy, we do not recommend that you use microcurrent. Any metastatic brain tumors, metastatic mean cancerous, benign should be okay. Any uncontrolled eye pressure, any people with glaucoma or ocular hypertension that's not being controlled right now. And we do want to use caution with folks who have frequent or severe migraines. All right, too much stimulation can set off a migraine, so we want to make sure that we're going low settings and you're going to be supervised with that. So the last thing I want to mention about microcurrent therapy is I want you guys to zoom out for a minute and understand that microcurrent is part of a whole at-home system. Yes, we do it in clinic with patients. The majority of our patients are doing at-home alternating current microcurrent therapy, and it should be used as part of a comprehensive eye health program where you include targeted supplements for your specific condition, whole body exercises, eye qigong, eye exercises, diet, lifestyle modifications. We really want to take a holistic approach to that. Will microcurrent help your vision by itself? Probably, but we want to get the most that we can. We want to look at hydration, your sleep cycles, exercises, and for more on those specifics, those of you who want to dive deep into what factors are important and constitute holistic therapy, I encourage you to go to my YouTube channel, Dr. Andy Rosenfarb. I have a lot of videos talking about lifestyle adjustments and things that you can do holistically to help improve your eyesight, acute and right now to improve your vision, and also to help preserve your vision long term. So if you want more information on microcurrent therapy, or specifically our alternating current therapies, our ACS 3000, please visit our Eye Health Institute at www.eyehealthinstitute.com. That's where we have our supplements. That's where I have our ACS 3000, which is our microcurrent device. And if you guys have any questions, please feel free to reach out to myself or my staff. You can post inside this Facebook group if you're watching it here. If you are watching on our YouTube channel, you can post comments in there. And again, if this is a personal issue for you or a family member or a loved one, feel free to call our office or email or direct message me on the side so we can have a conversation to find out if or how we might be able to help you and which treatment might be most useful for you to help recover and preserve your vision long term. Again, this is Dr. Andy Rosenfarb with AccuVision Acupuncture, where your vision is our mission. Take care and have a great rest of your day. Bye, guys.